Right, well that looks better than last time. No puddles on the floor yet. Might just leave this for half an hour just to see what happens. Right, so we're getting close now to final test fitting. These line up. We've got exhaust clamps will go up under there into here. Got various holes to let various cables run through. There's my pump mount, so the water will come over here, in here, out there and into there, into the side of the tank. So what I'm doing now is I don't need all these scoops here. I just need to run this as a fairing to here, then get a little bit of air into the carb air cleaner here. So I need to make panels which I'm going to weld in here. So I've carefully trimmed them all away and got the edges straight, and then I'm doing cardboard templates to then cut out the aluminium which will fit into these gaps. So there you go, that's one of the sides. So I need to use that as a template now, cut out my aluminium and then fold it to that shape and then weld it in. And what could possibly go wrong? So as usual, I'm using serial packets to do this. That's the one for this side, because it's just the nicest cardboard to do it with. So I've cut out some aluminium panels using the cardboard templates. I don't have a press brake. Well, I do have one, but it's really rubbish. So what I've been doing is literally just putting it over an edge like that to get these edges folded, putting the steel bar on top, G-clamp each end, and then I've just been tapping gently with a hammer over and over and over again until you get it folded down. If you're gentle about it and do it gradually, that works quite well. So you've got an edge like that, and then to put the curve on, I mean I could just force it round over something like a bar, but what I've been doing is using the rubber. See the rubber cover on the wheel here, which is split, because when you buy them they're often just wrapped around and super glued, so they go where the super glue is. But I saw someone else do this. You can just put tape around it and eventually it'll crumble and fall to pieces, but it'll work long enough to achieve what you want. So on the underside I've got quite a high curvature roller and quite a lot of pressure, and you just go back and forth and that'll put a curve on that way without doing anything in that direction. So this will get me roughly there, and then I can just bend it manually. The last bit you can see here. That's about as good a fit as I'm going to get, so I need to somehow secure that and tack weld it. So I've learnt from previous experience, so what I've done now is I've put little tabs here with a pop rivet. You can see one there under there, little aluminium tabs pop riveted in, so I can get my tank welds on without it all warping, because otherwise it'd be very difficult to do that edge there, for example. I can't get a clamp on, even a long reach clamp. So I think that'll work, and then I'll just drill these out and finish off welding. So there you go, it's all done. Holes are welded up where the rivets used to be. So it's a bit lumpy, but I'll need to have a massive grinding session now and polishing session. I need to find where I put my beeswax actually. I haven't done this edge yet because I want to make sure it fits nicely with the main rear bodywork. The other thing I've done is, if you remember before, I had scoops here and air was supposed to go down through a hole here behind the seat, because my head would be here, and down through the radiator that way, which didn't really work. So there's a big hole here which I had to weld up. So one thing I have been doing, whenever I cut holes or big chunks out of the main body shell, I tend to keep them. So I actually had this piece that I cut out. So basically I've welded it back in, and I had to fill the holes where I'd used a hole cutter to make a hole for my saw to go down through to the jigsaw. Probably leave these two, which are further back from my head, just so a little bit of heat rises up and around and out through the remaining vents when the car's parked. So you can see that's a pretty good fit now all the way along there. As good as I'm going to get anyway. And the same this side. Bit of a gap there. Absolutely bang on here all the way up. It represents an insane number of hours of work. Let's put this on. And you can see I've ground down all the wells. I've not polished it yet. Oops. I've not polished it yet, but you can see it's looking rather nice in a kind of shark gill kind of way. It's a lot neater than it was before. I need to now think about other things like the gear change mechanism down here. So the next thing I'm doing is mocking up the new gear change linkage. So if you remember, the previous one had a rod here with a knob on the end that slid back and forth and rotated through this kind of nylon block bearing. So I've modified it. The problem we had before was that it required quite a lot of force to change gear. You had to really whack it. And that kind of worked, but I'm just going to see if I can use some kind of lever type system that will give me a bit of mechanical advantage. So let's just put the slider back on. There we are. This is a Volkswagen Beetle gear change lever that's obviously been trimmed and modified, but it means you can screw a knob on the end. I can weld to it, I can do various things. So now I've cut a slot in here. You see how the lever can now move back and forth? And I can still got the rotational ability on this. So the thing is now, if I have a I could run this through and have a fulcrum point out here. Problem with that is then I'd have to have a blister on the outside of the cockpit. I could do that. I could have the gear change rod pivoted with about 2 inches sticking out here with a ball on the end, and then 2 flat plates, and that would form the fulcrum point. As you move the lever, it would lever this forward and back. But I need my fulcrum point on the inside, so I can have smooth bodywork here. So what I'm thinking, imagine something like this with a kind of ball joint each end, a bit longer, coming through from a point on the fuselage up here and joining on about there. Now that still allows movement up and down a little bit, but it gives me something to push against or pull against, which would then lever this back and forth. Now I need 7 centimeters of travel in total here, so eyeballing it, I need a pivot about there. So you can see this will come from here on the inside of this tube, something like that, and extend it, and it'll join on there. So you can see here I've got these fluffy things. These are wireless microphones which all good YouTubers use, so I don't know if that officially makes me a YouTuber now, car YouTuber, I don't know, but these stop wind noise and they're stereo, that's why I've got 2 of them, so I don't know if it makes a difference if I just speak to that one or that one, but no, we'll soon find out, won't we? Now you remember my lever shock absorbers were mounted here and here, but they leaked and they just didn't work. On the last run I did, I was just bouncing merrily along. Spring works fine, but there's no damping. So I learned a couple of things. One is you can get them rebuilt, but it's mega expensive to do that. The other thing is some of the other cars did have normal shock absorbers, so I looked it up and they were made in the 40s, so I am allowed to use them. So I've got these basic, these are actually like short hot rod stabilizers, dampers, so they'll go here like that, you see, onto these mounting points. Don't know if you can see that, let's just check. No, hang on. So you can see there, I've already got a mount for one. I've got that piece of cardboard measured. Now this piece of cardboard is measured, so it's the top of it represents the length of the damper when it's halfway between maximum extension, maximum compression. So that will go there. So I need to make something that bolts in here with a mounting about there for the top of this shock absorber. So, because I can't use a welder out here because I don't have power. So I've come up with this. Now this was laser cut because it just saves me time. Obviously I could have cut it myself, but you'll notice it's got all sorts of brackets welded on. These supports for the dampers are just tack welded because I don't know if they're going to work. So this is my test fit. So I've been out here a few times since the last video. Now this will fit because it's been on before. Oh, there we go. Now look at that. Is that not a work of art? So in theory I can bolt this down to there, this to there, this to there, that to there, and this down here. So it's going to be fixed at many multiple points. So the next thing to do is put some clamps on, I think. So I've got some G clamps conveniently hidden under here. I didn't know till fairly recently this is a Sharpie, but it's not any old Sharpie. Look, you see, it's got a long thin bit, and the reason for that is I can do this. I can mark where I need to drill my holes. Okay, cutting fluid in a can. There we are. Metal cutting lubricant. There we are. See if I can just get some of these at least started. Okay. Right, this is actually going better than I thought it would. I'm trying to get these holes up to 8mm. So these are brand new 8mm drill bits. Give myself the best chance again, because I'm only using an electric battery powered drill here. So give the poor thing as much chance of success as we can manage. And there we are, lots of cutting gunge. Oop. I'm making the holes slightly larger because you can guarantee these bolts won't line up perfectly. That's one. The final step now is, will the shock absorber fit? Yeah, it'll fit. The rubber might need trimming slightly, but that's okay. Right, should go in there. Yep. Can we get a bolt through? Yes. Okay. Looking good. Might as well put the other one on just to see what it looks like. God, surprised myself. Right. Well, look at that. So as the guy said in Gladiators, are you not entertained? Are you not impressed? I'm impressed.